Okay, it's 1 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we come to you again, Lord, as your humble servants attempting to do our best. Do the best thing for people who have called around, County Board, God, our hearts, our hands, our minds, and our mouths as we attempt to, to do good things and conduct the business of government in a way that pleases you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, welcome. Right, well, Sheriff Merchant, if you want to come in, we have county personnel public comment. We'll bump that a little bit. Sheriff Merchant's here. He has something he'd like to share with us.
Well, does it come on?
Certainly. Certainly.
I'm not sure.
I'll turn the mic so people hear you.
I was just gonna let you know that over the weekend, and on Saturday, one of our jail sergeants passed away unexpectedly. So he's been with me now 13.5 years. Was kind of a core member of our sheriff's office, and he's gonna be missed. And it was kind of wanted to bring that to your attention.
Well, we're sorry to hear that. We appreciate you coming in to tell us. What else can you tell us about Ron?
Ron was a veteran.
Mhm.
Everybody loved him. It's one of these guys that, you just like to be around him. And he was always willing to pitch in and do whatever he could. And he was suffering some health issues, and he didn't seem to let that bother him a whole lot. He always was concerned about the sheriff's office, what we call the company man.
Mhm.
But he was always willing to help out, pitch in on a moment's notice. Well, liked. And like I said, he's one that's going to be, no matter who you lose, it's hard to replace him. But he's one of those that's really, really going to be hard to find somebody even close to being like he was. So he loved his guys. He loved doing stuff outdoors and things like that. And pizza. He was a pizza fanatic. Pizza folks called and said they heard about it. Said they were sure gonna miss him. I mean, so he was just a well-liked guy.
Okay. Well, we're very sorry to hear that.
Appreciate that.
You said he was a veteran,
Yes.
so do you think we could get a picture of him? I'd like to put a banner up with our veteran banner project.
That'd be wonderful.
If you could provide us the picture and a little bit of information, we'll make sure that gets up in his honor.
Okay. We can do that. We'll find him. So,
Okay.
anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. Okay. Anything else from us?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything's a shot. So, okay.
Appreciate you coming in. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, I guess we will proceed to county personnel or public comment, if there is any. And I don't see any, but as always, if you got something to say, we will make time for you if we're still here. Got Brandon Roberts added here. The agenda looks pretty good. Guess we can just move on. The first item is minutes from June 15th and June 18th. Are there additions, corrections, or comments to the minutes as presented?
I didn't have any comments.
Okay,
They look correct.
Paul, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, is there a motion? Are you good on both sets? Is there a motion to approve both sets of minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve both sets as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Which I can.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Okay, the next item is this one digital update. And I take it just to mean the letter that she sent in me. Okay, all right. So is there any discussion on this? No? Okay, did you have any questions?
I didn't have any questions on it.
All right, our county counselor, he's item number 3. He'll be here at 1:30. I spoke with him this morning. Other than that. Getting the information, does anyone? I can hop into what I talked about. Is there anything more pressing than talking about the call I had with the soybean folks on the bridges?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, now I'll make that happen then. Dig back here in my notes. I talked to Mike Steenhook and Brian Carlever. He's the guy from Iowa. Steenhook is also from Iowa. He's with the soybean. Both those bridges are ideal candidates for 2 different methods. One was the rail car method, and the other is this buried soil structure. The one I'm talking about north, is it 255, 256? It's the one.
It's the one off of Redbud, I
I
believe.
think so.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's up, I could point it out on the map. Anyway, it's the one with the railings that all the tension rods.
It's got a wooden deck
There you go.
with a steel superstructure and the tension rods.
Okay, so he looked at it, he thought that would take, he could make a 30 by 65 footer, so it'd be 3 68-foot rail cars. And he figured if we could do it, the all-in costs up there would be $150,000 to replace that, because the abutments look fine, and there's, it should be just tear it out, lay the new ones on. And, I mean, I don't know how competitive that would be.
Well, we received a bid from a steel company in Nebraska a while back, basically just a proposal.
Okay.
Because we hadn't asked for a bid, but the gentleman, Chris from Husker Steel, I believe, knows a lot of the bridges. And he had submitted what he thought it would cost to replace the superstructure on that. And I believe, don't quote me, but when I saw it, this was months ago when he had sent it by, and I knew we hadn't asked, we hadn't even looked at it at the time, but I believe that their price to do that was somewhere around $178,000.
Well, okay.
Tammy has the information. I just told her we don't know what we're doing with the bridge. He was just talking about, again, not a full replacement because of the superstructure. So basically the abutments and everything seem to be good. It's the wood deck portion of it would
Similar.
be replaced.
And I know Bill had talked a lot about Husker Steel. That's being a more economical alternative. So they're fairly close. Okay, all right, well, there's that one. And then the other one was the bridge in my part of the world, I don't have that number, but it was on the minimum maintenance roads. It's a 20-foot span. It's a wood deck now. It's fallen. It's in pretty bad repair. But this buried soil structure would work. And he thought we could get into there for around $15,000 to $20,000 in materials. And he figures it'd be about $50,000 or less in construction cost in total for that thing. Now, there'll be some engineering and things like that happens in there, but these things are made in Topeka, it sounds like, or we need to talk to Contech, which is a supplier and they actually design and build these things in Topeka. Are you familiar with that name?
Contact Mechanic Tubes, don't they? I think they're
Yeah.
a supplier of tubes.
Yeah, they make tubes and they make these buried soil structures. They bolt together. I guess they would set in, you would cut the bridge pilings off basically at ground level. And then this thing sits on top of those pilings. The water, there's nothing on the bottom. It's all free flowing underneath it. But essentially you would pour a footing on top of those pilings. And then this structure bolts together on top of that. And then you lay some dirt over it, and that's done. So it would have way more water flow, as he discussed, you can look at this and you put 2 8-foot tubes in there, if you want, or tens or whatever, but this is a lot more water flow. And sounds like this one might make sense too. So basically I talked to him for an hour on the phone on Thursday on Friday. And my action steps were to call the engineer, first off, to see what you gentlemen thought of the idea. If you want me to pursue it or not. And if you do, if you're friendly to it, then I go from down the list.
Yeah, I mean, I think that identifying which of our bridges or basically tubes would be candidates. We have 2 now. So I guess if you're asking my opinion, the opinion would be we need to pursue it see what it's actually gonna cost by moving forward, talking to engineers, that kind of thing. And then getting a tighter, because that's kind of a soft quote right now. But tightening that up, and then if it's within our budget, I think it's something we need to be doing, because we would be self-performing quite a bit of this.
Yeah, so I told Portland, we could do that, or it could do either one. Wouldn't it?
In theory, yes.
But you have to start somewhere. And we already have some bridges that are in bad shape, so. I mean, the only other decision is those bridges come out of service, and I don't think that's a good decision for everybody.
So I'll call and talk to Daryl Lutz. We, at the, was it K Center or K? Okay, yeah, he's an engineer there, so I'll call him to make certain, and these are totally legit in Iowa and other states, but we'll make certain they're fine in Kansas. And he thought they were, but that's something I need to do, so I called him, if that works, then probably ought to take a road trip somehow, at least one of us, to go up to Iowa and visit with this man and see some of the work that they've done. And then we need to find out if we wanna. Brian Kyrlieber is licensed and can do this, or his firm can do this in Kansas. He's available to help. He said 35 of these bridges in his county in Iowa. And for a fee,
Yeah, he was the one that worked with KDOT, or he worked with a county up there for years, and then now he's doing consulting, basically, correct?
he's a retired civil engineer, live for Decatur.
That's perfect.
So he, at least on these first two, I guess my thoughts were we would rely on him for some, maybe most of the.
100%, yeah. I mean, you don't want to take on a project like this when you have an expert and you don't bring them in. That's,
Okay,
to me, there's just no reason to do that.
well then I'll pursue it. I'll start making phone calls if you're friendly to it, and we'll see where it goes from there. As far as going up there, I can go up. You can go up, you can go up. We just have to go up separately, which is
Yep.
a bummer, but that's okay.
Well, we wouldn't. We just have to take Nikki with us, and she's probably wanting to go to Iowa.
You can in County Iowa. I didn't even look where that's at. You never.
You never
Iowa?
left. You don't have to go back.
Okay,
It sounds like it'll be one of us soon.
okay, well, that's fine, and I'll pursue that. All right, wonderful.
So do you have any kind of a time frame? Did anybody talk about construction schedules on a bridge this size? Like,
He said that the Bearsville structure could be done before this fall. I mean, if we had the time,
sure.
pre-giant rainstorm event. That's no problem. That goes pretty fast. As far as the rail cars, he didn't mention turnaround time, but he said it doesn't take too long. They're actually come out of Kansas City.
So could they be done in conjunction? Well, we don't know if we even have the budget to do two, anyway, so that'd be the problem, is staggering them just. If at all possible, this year, with the way we have cut back on road and bridge as far as chip and seal, it would be great to be able to do one of those projects this year and have that cost hit this year.
So this bridge we're taking bids on, we don't know when that's gonna be this year or next year either.
The one today?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's,
but you guys have already budgeted for that, haven't you?
well, we had some on the put away
Okay,
at one time.
So, Tuesday.
right.
It's really,
So technically, that bridge, if we accept the bid, we have a proper bid that we accept, that money should already be allocated, and
That's the 42.
Yeah,
right, and up to about $100,000 is what we,
which would take precedence over these other two.
plus the engineering piece.
Right.
Which is probably another, maybe not quite that much, but it's that adds up a lot.
He didn't act like, if the guy said go on the virtual structure, that it could be done if they had the time.
Sure.
So do we want to talk about too, and maybe we need to have Jerry in here, but these are also we don't necessarily need to rely that our road guys are a little short-handed and pretty busy with the storms we've had. I'd like to reach out to maybe some other contractors in this part of the world and, see if we could get that done reasonably, just have somebody else.
Sure. Especially if we can use some local contractors.
Yeah, right.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, all right, I'll call and we'll go from there.
Then another thing we can also think about is some of the other counties that surround us, they still actually have a road and bridge we're still self-performing bridge work. So when we head into a project like that, I think it'd be a good idea to just go talk to some of these other people and just see some of the pitfalls that they've seen since they're self-performing. Maybe they can give us a little bit of heads up.
So I asked him to, they had a full-time bridge crew where this man is from, and this was 3 people. That was their bridge crew. That surprised me. I thought it would be bigger than that. Evidently, it's not.
Well, at one time, I know when I first moved back here, we had a full-time road and bridge crew, and the bridge crew was doing similar projects to this, and I don't think it was a very large department at that time either, so.
Okay. All right. There's a little time. I got a call this morning too from Brandon at the transfer station. They had more trouble with the back. They're aware of this. It was in the depth system this time. You're aware?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are moving forward on securing some prices. I did talk to Troy this weekend, and he thought that he was hoping to have some stuff for me today, but he didn't, so.
Okay.
But again, Troy is not the only place we can go on that. That's simply getting some feedback. And then I think everybody's aware that the county moved a backhoe over there during the last crisis, or at least set up to do that. So I'm assuming that backhoe is still available.
And Brandon thought they were just fixed up, and so they took it away.
Okay. So I would say that we look into the one backhoe that's usually in Fairview for right now and just have it staged. Would that be a problem?
And Jerry was getting work on it to get fixed from.
I'm not sure, but we could follow up on that. And as soon as his does come back from the dealership, then at least we could have it staged out there because it can sit there as much as it can sit out in Fairview, correct?
I think the Fairview one's a newer one.
Or we don't. My preference would be give one of the older ones out there.
He was using the old one at the transfer station, and the
Right.
tire went flat, so they had to have it fixed. That's why he had, I believe John was there and had done some packing of the trash with the road back. When they thought they were all good to go.
Right.
So do you want to be in communication with him about it? I told Brandon Rader we'd talk about this today, and he's, when that back goes down, he's getting a little stressed out.
I can imagine. That's why the whole idea of having a backup backhoe there, so he didn't have to stress out.
Right.
The county has 3. And we can surely, for a temporary status, we can surely move a 3rd backhoe over there until we get another backhoe out there.
Would you handle it?
I will.
Okay, wonderful. And that's done. Anybody have anything else? Yeah.
One question, with Jerry's isn't back yet, we still need to get one out there. The business school in the shop. we still need to-
Yeah, and you can find out by talking to Jerry and see, I mean, obviously it's been there for a little bit, so they might even be returned okay, so.
Okay. And Brandon did mention that the current machine has 6,000.
Yeah, which is right there for, I mean, that's when we would trade our backhoes in is with at 6,000 hours. Well, they still have value. And then before they start causing you too many problems, before you have to start putting in the high dollar repairs and maintenance.
This was water in the depth system is what the sensor said, and the sensor was replaced, but it lit up again. Brandon thought maybe they didn't necessarily think there was water in the system, but they probably, that's why the sensor.
How hard is that to repair?
How hard is it? Well, changing the sensor, I don't think it's a big deal, but they have to reprogram it. So the machine's sitting out there and it's derated, it won't.
Goes into a limp mode and then it began operating.
Won't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's goofy. It's goofy. That's what's happening. Okay, well, you'll talk to him and then after the meeting and that'll be one. Okay. Let's go. We got a little time. I'd like to have 5 minutes executive session, non-elected personnel. And I guess it'd be duties, performance, something like that for 5 minutes with the commissioners and the clerk. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. 5 minutes. It's about 1:25.
We are out of executive session back into regular with no binding action taken. I did get a text back from Brandon at the landfill and the old backhoe is back up and running and tomorrow on the new one to get it fixed. The newer to get that debt system going. So he's back in action. But you'll still call and talk to him. Okay. All right. That's done. Looks like we've got about just a few minutes. Dallas, would you check and see if Brandon Roberts is out there? Emergency manager, please. Get him to come in. He has an update for us about storm and the damage totals. And I understand how well that 5 inches of rain. Is that true?
We did.
I only had 2.
Yeah, no, when I looked at the weather gauges around, it went anywhere from basically 2 to about 5.25. And it seems like this pocket right here, South Hiawatha, and right up through here was,
So was there any more damage that you heard?
not that I heard of, but. So,
There he is. All right. And you can just come on up. If you would, you're ready?
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
it's a nice looking shirt.
You know, these are ones that I had the patches put on just so I had a. I'm gonna actually. That's just my call.
Okay.
There's.
You can move him there. All right.
Got Portland's back, so I went ahead and added it on there. So yeah, we'll kick it off, I guess. So this is some of the disaster damage reports from townships. I was able to get all the townships. I got the last one Saturday night and kind of put it all together. The only thing we do not have on here is Brown County Road and Bridge stuff. So we'll meet tomorrow morning at them. Jeremy and John and Katie. And go over some of that stuff. She's getting her bridge stuff back today. That's an auditor or whoever has it. They're cool to do that stuff. Yeah. She's getting that stuff back
Okay.
today, so, but I had a meeting with the state this morning. They would really like for us to try to turn our stuff in by tomorrow. We can do an extension, but I told them we can probably have it done tomorrow. So,
What does that mean for you?
pretty much just putting these numbers and then I have to do like a narrative. And then another big impact statement. So I need to just kind of write out what really happened in Brown County. Kind of selling these numbers to the state, which then they will do a big narrative when they do stuff. So, when I talked to them this morning, they were like 2.4 million for the state, so they're hoping Brown County had a pretty good size one, and they do it. So they were.
So Brown County suffered about as much as the rest of the state.
Yeah. So, I don't know what Road and Bridge is gonna come in at, but we're gonna put down kind of put a number for that. So, not City Horse was gonna come a little higher, but it just something that and that's where they're at. So, because it's in the football ball field, so that washed away. So, as you can see, most of ours is in the north side, which is kind of what I told them, you know, the Fredonia was pretty good size, Irving was pretty good size, Hamlin Township. Mostly north side of the town, where we've seen a lot of it, so, that's. Going back in, but a lot of rock and that kind of stuff, and go all that I talked to, if they move in there, go back and put some rock in, we're going for it, because, well, we got. I'm not saying we're gonna get anything, but if we do, it's gonna help, so, I did ask him about the boat for emergency management, so we will be able to put that on there. Since it did get pretty much out of service now for the county.
And that damage was caused when you guys were doing this with water.
That's when we did the water rescue on that Thursday night, I had one next, so, we will put that on there. So, there's a couple other things we can put on there that we use that night, that's the one the basket got kind of messed up and the tree stuff goes on it, so.
That's all stuff they said we can put on there. So we're gonna put that on there too, so that's not included on this number, but that's probably only gonna be $10,000 when I think that boat will, that's like 85, 85. Right. And that boat we have is 12 years old, so it's really needs to put it in. But it's to put it on. So, I guess really I was just gonna see if there's any questions on what we've been having to do. All of them pretty much got a damage assessment questionnaire, townships, sent it to them. Pretty much I just went through, you know, they had to clean off debris. And then most of it was road, so cleaning up the roads, and then have to go back on the rock.
So when you're meeting with Tammy and the road and bridge guys tomorrow, I would just say that it goes without saying, but we gotta make sure that there's no damage to any wing walls or anything like that from these bridges, because that's where the money's really grow.
Yeah, and that's what we were looking at last week. There were quite a few of those that they were both calling me about, sending pictures, you crawl down into some of them, and get around.
I mean, I know they're doing it, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, without that estimate in here, that estimate could grow. I mean, we're looking at, you know, some very small bridges here
Yeah,
and just the numbers get into the hundreds of thousands of dollars really quick when they have to be replaced.
yeah,
My fear is that maybe we have a bridge that is damaged beyond repair now. It's gonna fall onto one of our schedules,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, so that's why that report that we're getting back is gonna be nice to kind of look at that.
Yeah, because that's before and after,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah, it worked perfect because that was all looked at prior to the storm. And
Sure.
now. And that was one of the questions I asked in the state today, because we didn't have a report yet until this week probably, so. It's something we can go back on, and they said, yeah, we can do a continuous on this, so they want us to turn this in, but doesn't mean you can't go back and say, okay, now our bridge inspector came back out, and here's what we found. And so we'll be able to go back on it, so. This, I don't know how fast we can get it back out, or if we find something.
Right.
Needs to be the, so.
So when you're talking with the state, can you ask that question, saying that if we determine that we find something that should have been included, how long is that window?
Yeah, to see how long that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different from insurance on storm damage, where you have to go back in after the fact and say, we've discovered more
Yeah.
damage, so assuming there's something like that, of course.
Yeah, and I think, you know, they see that we're gonna be there, definitely have the most damage in the county. So it sounds like from this morning's conversation, as soon as this gets turned in, the state sends it off to FEMA. They will send a team down here, probably 3 or 4 guys from the state. Then I'll go around with them, and whoever the contact is with the township, whoever the one from county, we'll go around with that team from the facilities damage. It's not, they're gonna see if we really got the damage, it's just.
Yeah, it's
they come
procedure,
here, so
it's
they can-
procedure.
Yeah, so they can write up their recommendation report. So there's quite a bit of them to be fixed. There's someone, you know, at 3.2 bridge, we haven't opened that yet. We've got the whole front of the top, but the washout, so that we're trying to do about that. So there's still some that have to be opened yet, so they know that, so. Ideally, they probably send somebody out to town by next week, send 2 or 3 guys up here, kind of go around, start looking at it. But yeah, I really just want to share those numbers. And just kind of, this is all the stuff that I got from all the townships, but we don't do kind of. I probably annoyed some of them because I just kept bothering them, but I said, I want to get these numbers because. What they told us last week's meeting was probably the 23rd, but they wasn't a dead or a definite date. But
Yeah.
they decided that this morning, I think they've got about it, but they'll just go on. But we also have those tables.
Very good.
So I'm hoping to get everything probably finished up tonight, the impact statement, get all that stuff, and we'll have a meeting in the morning. Be able to add these numbers, send it off for it.
Did you talk to the Kick Bridge?
I didn't get any calls back. Apparently they, you know, the county does a lot of their roads, sounds like, so, yeah,
Probably around there, dirt roads.
their road stuff, so. I don't know if they actually have a road or a road person down there, but nobody ever contacted me about it. I mean, I've had 2 messages down there for them. Never heard anything.
Sonny Switch, I guess, is in charge, David, you know him?
Who is it?
Sonny Switch?
Don't know if it- I did get one from the Iowa tribe, So they reached out, so I gave them the info, something the question here, I got theirs back Friday. So it's all good. That's one thing the state asked today was since we have tribes. Counties we can reach out, but that's not. Our tribe's really the one that has the road part of it, so they're the front, part of it, that they're there, it's only one side, so. So yeah, they came up with a number, but. I mean, I can reach back out to,
I don't know, looks like it. I think there'll be some gravel road that has got underwater.
this township take care of most of that, because they had put stuff on here, there were some of the roads. Township had on there. I'm trying to remember exactly
I think I
what road there was, but
think I actually took a picture of their roads the other day, but I don't have it here with me, so. There's some down there by the Delaware that.
As much water as there. I think they did.
But a lot, some of those roads are dirt roads down there too, so.
yeah. And I know when we were down there on Friday. There was a lot of water scanning, but they really didn't seem like they had the rush of water on the hills.
Right.
I think just flatter.
And I've been-
That's what we've seen mostly up north was just because of the hill, just literally washed all the gravel off of them and poured downhill. Down there, what I seen was more just kind of debris stacked up on the roads, not really washed out.
But probably not.
So maybe they didn't have a whole lot, or I don't know, but I did drive down there a couple different times. Jerry, there was a couple of spots that we went and looked at, like Falcon Road, the K-20. There's quite a few spots there that we patched, once it washed out the chip and seal road, so they went back and patched in that. So we took pictures, a bunch of that. That stuff we're gonna bring up on tomorrow's deal, but so. I mean, and Jerry might have talked to somebody, didn't have anything, I can ask him that. tomorrow.
Would you just try again?
I'll try again.
Since you got-
If I didn't talk to him.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'll check it.
Yeah, because I mean, that's something we can kind of add into this real quick, but since it was brought up by the state, they reached out with the tribes.
That's what he brought us. That's the damage from the storm. That's a good.
So the sheriff has a contact with the Kickapoo tribe. Also, you might reach out to him and get that contact.
Good.
But you're right, it was sunny. The last time I dealt with him, he was still
Try to do
doing some of the stuff down there. Yes.
it.
Yeah, I can reach out again and see if we can get, they got something we can throw together pretty quick, so. Yeah. Well, when I do this, write this up, I have this impact statement, is it something you guys want to look at before I send it off to the state? Just to see where I'm.
I think you
down,
should,
or-
if you can, send it to Nikki and she can just send it to us through that way. And if we have any comments or whatever, but we should at least have a copy of it.
Good.
Are you comfortable with doing that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just kind of. Look at some of the others and then I'll put in there what we have to put. Really like. Tell the car, I guess, and try to tell them exactly what all happened and. What the damage was and this is what we gotta do to fix it, so. And it is, they understand it, we're a farming community, there's a lot of gravel roads up here, and we have to be able to harvest, gonna be right around the corner. And then we don't get rock back on these roads, they're gonna be horrible for winter.
Yeah.
They're just being snow stuff. So yeah, I mean, that was one of the things that I talked with the state this morning about. So. But I can understand, because they know we got over 9 inches up there in those few hours, so. We will definitely hard to do. And then we had another 4.5 Saturday.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which is why I reached out to Howard Township this morning to see if there's anything more, but really it was just. They haven't fixed everything, so we're just kind of being a little more watch out. All stuff. That'd be good.
All right.
Well, you
Yeah.
picked a good time to come on board as emergency manager. didn't you?
Yeah. So, getting thrown right in, so.
I think you're doing well, so
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So, I think that's pretty much all I had, I just want to go over that, but that's kind of where our numbers are right now, so. I think, depending on where the county comes in, we're probably getting close to that 3, I guess.
So the damage. So the rescue squad has a Quonset over here. And I got a picture of where the drywall kind of caved in on one of the vehicles. Was that caused because of all the rain? Do we have a leak there that
There was a leak
basically
there.
saturated the,
Saturated through the sheetrock and that sheetrock fell.
right? So I'm just wondering, can that be thrown on, or just a rough estimate?
It can be, yeah, I mean, it's definitely from all that water, because we found it on Monday after that storm.
So could, as a
So,
previous contractor, could you just throw some money in there for that? And we've got pictures of it.
yeah, we got pictures. of
So
it,
it's gonna have to be addressed.
Yeah.
So,
so,
okay.
Yep, I can add that to it. So. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thanks, Brandon.
Okay, hi, Austin. Hi. How are you? Okay, a good weekend?
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so we have done everything on this sheet. And we have, looks like we have a sealed bid opening at 2, so you have,
Yeah, I've got some updates in this book. Well,
there you go.
back to kids stuff. Kids stuff always fun.
Yeah.
Back and help out kids. Anyway,
First thing was we're marching down I read the one digital update, that's good. Looks like we're gonna have I read the one digital update, that's good. Looks like we're gonna have some information back soon. Yeah, I read the one digital update, that's good. Looks like we're gonna have some information back from our Amberwell. I think have they given us, I don't think they've given us anything back yet. No. But I did see that Amberwell does they're trying to work with the archdiocese, and I think that it's just us and the archdiocese that they're trying to move a contract out with. So we kind of need that information sooner than later, although we're not having to make any type of actual allocation decision until later this year, like September, October. That's what One Digital said on their note, is that they'll have a little bit more information. That's what Amber Bletcher of Sailor Insurance also provided. You know, she didn't have firm numbers, but she came back with those numbers we reviewed last week. I've been doing a little bit more work we talked last week on what potential road solutions might be. Okay. And that was another element. Richard and I have only talked a couple of times on this, but Vance Brothers were at Nemaha today. Okay. So I have a little information on that I can share. I'll kind of share the skinny of what on this board over here. I'll try to take this with me so that people can. I'm not going to say it in the right way, but there's 2 different types of cracks. So if I'm driving over the road as I'm going, right? There's these that I'm driving over. Okay. If they're valleys like that, they do a good job with micro surfacing, filling that in. If I'm driving and I'm driving across them, not so much. Okay. So what happens is that if I'm driving like this, right, and I see the road, I ask them specifically, over a half inch, they got real problems. Okay, with the micro surfacing, they're not able to smooth it out. Okay. So then there's a question about whether or not, if you've done that, can they come in? And I ask them kind of directly, because they've got a 5-mile stretch there that's not so great. And I said, look, you guys, it's a business decision. I mean, I'm not telling you. And I tried really hard. I said, I'm not wearing my lawyer hat here. I'm trying really hard to just I'm talking from an administration standpoint. Okay. But you don't want this 5-mile road to be your representative for here and for all the neighboring counties. You don't want that. And so you need to figure out what you can do or what you're willing to do. So they say that there's in areas, like if you're driving a rig where it's lopsided as you're moving, they've got some ability. If you go in and identify, you can do some patching early on in that. Okay. And if they do that patching early on, then there might be some help there. The other thing is that they talked about, well, because it's sort of washboardy now, Like it gets a little better with each pass, but this is so thin. The material's so thin. And the theory holds true that we talked about with it being really just kind of like an elastic liner that expands and contracts. So we talked about that. And the guy basically said some of our salesmen are guilty of just overselling. In fact, he didn't just basically say that, he just said it. Okay. But at the same time, it's not a 3-inch mill and overlay. Like it's not a 3-inch lay. But I said, can you go on ahead and scrape in spots, right? Scarify, scarify down the spots that need to be done. And he's like, well, we really don't have that infrastructure because then you're really, what's our cost difference? And we don't have that equipment. So finally, guys, I just kind of broke down and I pulled up on my phone an 8-inch wide handheld scarifier. I said, I'm not talking about doing the whole thing. I'm talking about going in patches where it's bad and scarifying it a little bit. Then you're fixing the lopsided part of it. Then you're laying over the top of it. And then the lead salesman was there and I said, you got to figure something out here because right now your product's pretty well dead if you can't figure this out. Like it's not going to work in Kansas.
Explain cracks to me again.
These aren't cracks, these are washboarding. So like you've got a semi that's going over the top of it. Think of it like a rug. Have you ever had a rug? Yeah, it's just like that. It's like the rug gets because that's all this is.
The new material has washboarding.
So it's all it didn't fix the washboarding below.
Fix the ones.
Yeah.
Especially when it's hot out,
Sure.
the road's hot and the semi trucks are hitting it, it's pushing the material down the road.
Yeah, and it's like anything else. Like all they're doing is they're giving a membrane over the top of the areas where it washboard. And it's not like the road's necessarily bad underneath. Like you're going to see because it degrades. I mean, all this is a bait. All a road is a really nice fancy piece of aluminum foil. If you're covering a hot dish, right? You've got all the stuff below it and it's got to cover something on top, and so the road that they've got, the base material, right? It's different everywhere. And we've talked a little bit about that too in our areas.
Describe. So one of the problems we have in Brown County with chip and seal,
Right.
it's not the chip and seal itself. It's that we're chip and sealing over similar areas like what you're describing. So you
Right.
get if our roads were smooth and profiled properly with grading to the side at the proper percentage.
Yeah.
Chip and sealing it's a good product. You're putting aggregate down and oil in. If it seems to me that Nemaha County is guilty of it, we're guilty of it. If we could step back a little bit instead of trying to think of doing 90 miles of just covering, if we were to go back and contract with a company that has a profile, right? And literally hit the profile those roads in some areas it's not doing anything. In other areas, it's going to profile a tenth.
That's right.
Tenth of a foot off, right? And if you could get that road profiled correctly and then chip and seal, we would have much, much better chip and sealed roads. But we keep exacerbating those dips in the undulating roads and all the problems we have because we're going over them with the same amount of material. It's not like that chip and seal process fills in and keeps the finished surface the same.
That's right.
So if we have a dip, we continue to have a dip.
And
If we have, any of those same problems, we continue. So it's like, I don't know if we've ever looked at, and it's costly, it's not inexpensive, but most of the time when companies are coming in and they're doing a grind, they're also doing an overload.
Yeah.
What we're looking for is a grind prior to our sealing it up with a fresh coat of chip and seal. And if we did that on a bunch of our bad spots, I think you would see a much happier constituents on that road.
The machine exists
It does.
that can mill at a low level.
The machine exists that not only can mill at a low level, but is ran by a laser. And so when it hits those areas that do not need to be planed, it doesn't plane. And when it hits the areas that do, it planes right through them, if you understand what I'm saying. And so you'd be taking your high spots out. And then when you come back in and you lay that, you lay your rock and you lay your oil, now you're laying on top of a smooth surface. And I'm not an expert in this field, but I understand because I've watched I've watched a lot of grinding overlay projects where we're on the project and you're seeing what they're doing. And they would have very, very rough streets and they go in and they also run a machine called a profilograph. And it would profile the road, right? And it literally is just going through and kissing the road in places and taking it off. And I'm just wondering if that would be worthwhile in an area like that. Yes, it isn't, it's an extra cost, no doubt, and it's gonna be expensive. But I think if we could get some of our roads back to a really good surface and then chip and seal, we'd be years ahead.
Is that a machine where they're taking a load, just a skin off? Do they follow with the trucks and feed it back in? Do they have a pile of grindings? Is that what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. It falls, so it's milling and it's taking your grindings right up a chute and into a truck.
I've seen it where they do the whole circuit.
Yeah, that's a grind and overlay.
I've never seen it where they just touch the ice.
They-
Well, that's profilograph is what I'm talking about. And what happens is on some of the projects I've been, when the contractor puts a surface down and it doesn't meet the specifications of that project to be perfectly graded.
Yeah.
They'll go in and they'll mark their spots they don't want and they'll make a profilograph come in and basically it takes off those bad spots. Because the agencies are like, we're not accepting. Because it's, contractors can mess up. You can have especially on bridge approaches, you'll see them do that a lot on bridge approaches where they're saying, this is a brand new road, brand new bridge. There should be no, large bump as you hit your deck and they'll make a profilograph that.
And so bridging off of that, like that, I didn't mean to be punny. Going off of that, like, but really and truly, if you're profilographing, like you've got, and it's not like I've driven our roads. I'm not saying that I've driven the roads like everybody has. Everybody's driven, but I've driven our roads. Like it's not like all of the subgrade is bad
Right.
underneath all these chip and seal roads. But if you profilograph, then you've got millings. You got a place to storm, then you have half of your material anyway. If you want to go back through and do some you've got some mill and overlay material, or you have millings that you could use for other things. So, but the reality is that if you come through here and you do this and you profilograph most of that, you then have a smooth surface, you've got a chip and seal, you've got a base that's down. You've got half of what you need. Now, is it going to be perfect? No, but these are not. Then you're triaging your roads back and you get to what your truck haul routes are. And then we're spending money on that the right way over time.
Well, you guys have driven trucks down roads that, Baker Road's a perfect example. If you're driving a semi truck down a road that has all these dips and stuff, you know what it's like. It's not good. Well, we don't fix that with chip and seal.
Right.
So I think that we need to just take a look at how do we step back and start when we're doing chip and seal, and that would obviously go into the budget too. We're not going to be able to do 90 miles if you are doing a grind.
But you're saying if chip and seal is an adequate surface for our roads, the limit is it's not a smoother. I thought that what you talked about, micro and,
Yeah.
so tell me what that thing is again. What's that?
Microsurface.
Microsurface. When I heard that described, it was a 1/4 inch to 2 inches and it was a leveler.
That's exactly what they told us, but like you heard him say, I think they were overselling.
Okay, so they oversold it, but if we can take an actual machine and go and mill it smooth, then we're back to chip and sealing being it okay.
Yeah.
And you are back to that.
And I also think we need to look at that fog seal process too, which we don't do.
Yeah.
The fog seal is the sealer.
Are there companies that do nothing but run a profilograph machine?
I don't know. Most of the time you see it, they're doing the grinding and they're doing the overlay. I'm not saying the companies won't, you're hiring them, they're gonna give you a price. Most of the bids you see, just like on the one that, we're gonna open up, they usually have line items for each process. So if they have to go back and do more grinding than anticipated, you know what you're paying. So it'd just be interesting to talk.
Okay.
But if I could show people, because people, I don't know if anybody's watching this, but if they are, I'd love to show you this. Look at this. Started to break there a little bit. Okay, started to break there a little bit as it bends. This is an elastic surface. You're putting something that's designed to stretch with an oil over it. So if you have a solid surface underneath it, you've put a sealer over the top,
Mhm.
and the chip and seal is designed to you're trying to give moisture down into the base so that there's enough oil that allows during heat and cold events for things to expand and contract in a way that doesn't totally crack out. That's why you see tar cracks that go. So what we're talking about is on a I wouldn't say a small, but a medium volume surface road. How do you give something that expands enough? And Richard, stop me if I'm going wrong here I mean, neither of us are experts in this. Obviously, but this is basically what a road surface is designed to do. You're capping something that the base is maintained. And then when you see like areas that are not so much washboardy, but where it's dipped down, that's where the base has gone out. And that's where you have to cut out whatever that is and come back in and patch. That's all I have.
Okay. On roads, or that's all you had?
On the other thing is, I think I've closed this out. I sent an invoice to Nikki for the work I've done on the sale. With some receipts, so if there's anything that comes up on that, but that should probably be in your next batch of invoices to be paid.
Okay.
There's a meeting on the 30th. That's a Tuesday. I'm not sure about. There's usually, when they're not on Mondays, sometimes I don't make it in, but if we need something, I can definitely appear virtually. Or if something comes up that's, that day I may be traveling a bit, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, otherwise, but other than that, do you guys have anything else for me?
At one time, we had a letter from a family in town or in Hiawatha about a person buried on private land looking for a military type thing. I mean, I think you're familiar with this, Richard. They're still looking for some paperwork? Do we
No.
know anything about it?
I think they've withdrawn that.
It's
request.
withdrawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. I had some questions about if we wanted to go over this, because I believe, Austin, you talked to us about the RHID
Uh-huh.
with the city. Sounds like that's a topic of conversation again.
Right.
And I was, no if anyone had any updates on that, we want to talk about what it's doing.
So, one of the commissioners have reached out to me a little bit. In fact, they're going to be talking about it tonight's meeting with the city.
Yeah.
But, when the two commissioners from Hiawatha came over and addressed us, we had asked them some questions. Those questions pertain to obviously things like, what is the project's value? If they were doing an RHID, what would be the length of the RHID, for instance, 15, 20, or 25 years? I had asked them some questions regarding bonding and a few things, and they said they would get back to us. They haven't been back yet. But I believe that they will be discussing it tonight, and I believe that they are looking at a 25-year-long term for an RHID.
I'm looking at the statutory on this. Sorry, I have to give you.
And so the question is going to come back to us at some point is, obviously, it's a simple math problem, right? The value of the project at the current date times the number of years and our percentage of the total mill in Brown County, which I think is somewhere around 43 or something like that. Is that correct? If you're in town, you've got county, city, cemetery, school, state. I think that all comes up to around 100 and I'm just going to use round numbers, say 130 mil. And I think the county's portion of that was around 40, 42 or something like that.
Mhm.
So when they were here, I was simply saying, you're asking us to give up money on a project that if it doesn't go through, we don't get the money anyways. But if it does go through, what are we giving up and for how long? And they still haven't got back to us yet on that. And so again, when I was talking to the one commissioner, I was asking the question saying, what are we giving up? For how long? Because I know that's what you two guys are going to ask, right? And then the other thing is my question was, if you look at what the RHID is going to pay for, originally they were going to do an RHID bond to pay for the infrastructure of the project. So we're talking streets, curb gutter, we're talking utilities, right? So your utilities, I'm looking at electrical, gas, water, communication. Yeah.
It's 2 o'clock. This is our sealed bid opening.
Okay.
Austin, can you stay through this bid opening?
Yes.
We can get this back.
Okay. All right, it's 2 o'clock. Welcome, everybody in the back of the room there. It's time for the bid opening for FAS 51. No, absolutely. Hello. Howdy.
You guys don't remember Brady from.
Yes, hi Brady.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I just thought he was
It's fine.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
a summary sheet, available. There you go. Okay, so nobody else should have made it upstairs.
I know, Barb should have called him. He's. Do you want with more?
That's a lot.
We have two here. So just confirming nothing else, it's not in.
No.
Okay, yeah, so we got two here, Hebert and B and B, and we got representatives in them. Back here, but, so our engineers estimates here, that I put together. Was $971,768. Going alphabetically, firms that are filled out here are the companies that had downloaded plans.
No,
So that's why they were pre-filled in there, but the first one we had on B and B,
You only had two bids.
yeah. And then this one. Total for B and B. Was $767,480.47. 767, 480, 47. Bid bond. That's 810,602.67. 810,602.67. Thank you, guys.
You happy with that?
Those. Yep, we will.
Ebert.
Hebert?
Yes. Sorry, I put that wrong line on my sheet. Yeah, we'll confirm the math, make sure it's figured it out, and that is good. Or get a recommendation for the board. As a item.
all right,
Thank
thanks for
you.
coming in.
Here's great. Perfect, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, we'll usually do, I'll take these back, we'll check over the map and make sure the total that I read matches from all the prices added down, but.
Is that bid specifically to your requirements, I guess, to?
Yes, so everybody gets the same plans and specifications.
Okay.
My estimate, has all the same bid items, yep, so everybody's bidding based on the
The
same
same
standard
bids.
specifications,
Yeah.
yep, same
Same
design, same materials. That's the purpose of.
Sometimes things are a little different in there. when we
Yeah,
open
different
other
industries
bids.
where they let, suppliers propose, different equipment.
Or equals.
HVAC, yeah,
Yeah.
or equals, but yeah, this is pretty much concrete that's coming from a local ready mix supplier. Steel rebar that's coming from a, certified.
Does that have to be
supplier.
American made steel in the
Um,
bridge?
It's not a requirement for this funding since it's just state funding,
Okay.
not federal funding.
I can look at it like the same. Next deal, I don't. See, you know, a couple main suppliers.
Is it unusual for something to come in under the engineer's estimate to this degree?
No, so yeah, I say, don't let that worry you. I think our estimate had been closer to 900 through the process as we got, you know, since it's been. There about a little while, I bumped my estimate up some. Sure, it wasn't the lowest, you know, coming in here. But I'd say it was a good prices.
And also usually, Public Works, if the bids are more than 10% of the engineer's estimate, then they usually have a,
10% over.
yeah, exactly.
Then, yeah.
They'll usually have a,
This is like what you can justify.
not necessarily, as long as you have money, but if it's 10% over, then a lot of times they will go out to get.
Okay. Okay, so both bridges, both dollar figures are the exact same bridge, exact same materials, exact same timeline as far as installation.
Yes, so we gave in the contract, you set contracts up different ways, but we gave them like start. But they have to start by November 2nd. Or start fixing liquidated damages.
What are the LDs on this job?
I don't remember if it was. Usually around like $1,000 a day.
And that's November 2nd of 2026.
Yes, so that's November. I need to start. Window is trying to start it after fall harvest.
And is this calendar days or working days?
Working days, but. Right here, the late start November 2nd, 100 working days to substantial completion, which usually means a little bit of traffic, 20 days to final completion. So Dwayne, your phone would call me, week or two ago, asking about the start date of the working days and fact that if they got started earlier than that, they could use other working days, but they could still be in winter when asphalt's not in production, asphalt road.
Right.
I hadn't been, it appears, maybe the recommended a little bit, I can ask them, like, how back with a recommendation for board, you guys, what their anticipated schedule is. If they're thinking about starting earlier, because of course they could start as soon as they have contracted for us.
Okay.
So we'd be laying asphalt February.
Which asphalt plants aren't in production until they have got it April or something, so. We kind of said that November thing, they started in November, then that number of working days will have to go right there, first of April, ready to make asphalt.
There's no good time to take out a bridge. I understand.
There
that.
is a, yeah,
November 2nd would be at the tail end of a normal harvest. I'm not sure how much grain comes in from the west. Into Pat, is it pretty substantial?
I'd say so. I mean, that's no other.
But you also have three other places,
Yeah.
three other main arterial streets to get into that.
We'll just have to look at them.
that's the thing.
So there's nothing southwest of town, just so they can come in 170, or they have to come in, come up full bench.
Well,
Well, everything that comes in goes out by truck over the winter, but.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to go.
There's more goes north than that.
Okay.
Then go west, well, not too much, well, some goes to the.
We'll have advance notice. I mean, upon awarding a bid, we'll have, I mean, we're just going to get the word out.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yes,
So,
temporary hang.
okay.
Tim was already on it.
She's on, right on.
The idea was to put up signs
Well, in advance.
well in advance notifying that this bridge will be closed
Okay,
temporarily.
So they could
Not
start,
finished.
earlier in November.
that is true, yeah, we did set. It requires you start getting more restrictive on start date, and then you get people less interested for them with schedule.
Sure.
Or they add a bunch of money. Compensate for the LDs they're gonna face and. Still do.
So what does that mean then? Could it, upon awarding the bid, could it start any time?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
so. My understanding, like I said, I haven't talked to DD, my understanding, contractors have 3, 4, 6 months time for the work, so. I'd be surprised if somebody said,
Yeah.
I guess the contract we're gonna start the next.
Okay,
week
I
or
mean,
something, but-
Just asking questions.
Yeah.
That's where the B&D from.
St. Paul, so down by Pittsburgh. We see them more on southeast Kansas projects. But we got a list of 15 contractors that send invitations to bid to. They reach out this far, so.
Everton will be one.
Yes, yep, groups out when we go do a lot of work. Reese do a lot of work with, they actually called and asked me if can we open to put the project up till next spring or summer, because they are busy through the winter and it's. I think they'll want to see what they get from bids here before considering pushing to take that, so.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, I will give that. Recommendation. Yeah, I brought those files back and have question reports that I'm you guys have, so we'll take care of and want to come back to that or.
We have some.
You've got 20 minutes, you know, to get those. Austin, but
I
Are you still good, Austin?
I'll make it work. Great.
Tammy, do you have any news on the low bridge signs? Did they come in?
They're installed.
they're already installed.
Well, that's news. Huh? That's what,
I have pictures.
okay.
I'll
That's
show you.
wonderful.
They're up, yes.
They're installed. Did I miss that? I mean, I missed it. I'm
No, it was after the meeting last week.
okay. Perfect. That's perfect. Good job. Good job. Checking things off my list.
I also spoke with Andy Peterson after those signs are put in.
Good.
Thanks for you. Tammy, I'd send her PDFs of all this too, so she can print more copies or copies for your. And maintenance folks. Same format of report that we've done in the past. Other than just some of the columns in the tables have changed to, we talked about, the new federal SNIBI, requirements. Changing, adding to the amount of data we collect in, footbridge inspections. So they're familiar with their FAS system and your off system. You got first table there, the first set of tables is inventory data, stuff that really doesn't change other than your inspection date, inspector over here. For all of these sets of tables, the first page is your FAS, the major collector routes up here. Then there's 2 pages for the off system bridges. That was 2 through 120 and then, excuse me, 3 pages. The first 4 pages are inventory data. And the next set of 4, so instead of on page 6, bottom right corner there. Those are appraisal tables, has all those condition ratings across the right side. Those are ones that they added a whole bunch more this year to collect. You've got your posting, existing posting, and what your bridge load rating in the file says is the maximum posting you can post for. Most of the time that matches. Occasionally, you guys have something posted a little bit lower than the maximum. Extra margin, or didn't want to change signs, or, but then you've got condition ratings across the rest of the page for deck, super, sub, structure, culvert, channel. Then they added these bridge railing, transitions, bridge bearings, bridge joints, channel protection, and scour condition. All those condition ratings on a 1 to 9 scale. 9 isn't used by KDOT, but that means it's not open, hasn't seen any traffic. 8, 7 is good. 6 and 5 is fair. And then 4 and below is poor condition.
So we don't have a lot of 4s then.
Correct. Yeah.
If you had a 4 under channel protection. I mean, what do you mean by channel protection?
Yeah, so that's if a lot of them have ends, means there's no riprap or any armoring or anything installed out there. So it gets them in for not not applicable. The ones that, yeah, have poor condition that probably are wanted out is something.
But all bridges should have channel protection in a perfect scenario, right?
Not necessarily, obviously if it's low flows and
Okay,
flows don't even get up to ground imbalance or something.
okay.
There's structures that function out there for their entire life with
With no channel.
minimal issues.
We've taken some fairly short bridge tours where we have looked and we've seen some places where they could use some.
That's
So that's what that's what your four means. There's something there, but it
what's
needs a
there
little
that
help.
damage. Yeah.
But if it has an N, does that mean it doesn't need it? Because it's not
It
there?
be, no, it means there's none there.
Just means
There,
there's nothing
there
there.
are cases, get past the appraisal table,
Oh.
our maintenance tables.
You
Where we
have
have
that.
maintenance recommendations for each bridge.
Okay.
There are cases where we have said, armor this. you
Okay,
have
good.
not, Fill this
That's great.
aggression, and that may well correlate. Ones
So
that
we don't have to guess on what to do with the four here because you
Correct.
suggested it from the.
Yeah, so that,
Okay.
after these appraisal tables, 4 pages of those, the maintenance recommendations start on sheet 10.
A lot.
And so there, yeah, it's really the tables. that-
This is the meat and potatoes of
clients
the
are-
report, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're gonna go there. That reports what was, recorded,
Mhm.
reported to the government, put in your bridge file. But yeah, these are the things that, you'll need to address either just for longevity or for safety hazards.
Tammy, what is what's the OS number for the bridge up there, the wood deck with the broken tension rods up by Redbud?
I know which bridge you're talking about, and it's an OS page. There's one right here, 56.
So that's 56.
I don't want you to know. It's OS 56?
Yeah.
Okay.
You run across to the outside and do. We noted.
So those can be replaced?
Yeah, a lot of them had been at some years in the past, because I went back and looked through the inspection records. For the last 15 years or something, and it was maybe 1 or 2 broke, and a few more broke, and then quite a few, probably more than half of them broke. And then the next inspection, none broke. The original ones are just like a deformed rod that had,
Almost like an all thread with,
well, the replacements are actually threaded.
yeah,
But the original post tensioning rods, they jack them with a hydraulic jack, and then the chucks like clamp down.
okay, so it can't pull back.
Yep, and a lot of those had broken and were replaced then with the ones that are threaded, like all thread.
Yeah.
I think those are replacements.
So in your experience, is that something that usually a contractor performs, or can that be done in-house in your experience?
I would say I don't have experience with those. That's the only bridge like that.
Oh,
that I've
really?
seen.
Okay, so it's not very common.
Canvas. Yeah,
Okay,
there was a short period of time where there was federal funds pushing wood construction.
yeah.
By the timber industry or what, but
But you noted on this bridge, I mean, I don't see, other than the other than the rods, I don't see anything else on that.
Well, he scores it a 7 and a 6 on all the rating.
yeah, the
Which
condition
means
is
it's-
still very good.
Right.
But those, you do notice the outside, the rail sagging
Sag.
without that compression force from those tensioning rods. Individual beams or those exterior beams tending to sag.
So in your engineering opinion, that thing, if it was fixed,
It's
it would be adequate?
be recommended, yeah, like, I don't think it's loaded.
No, it's open.
That,
That's
yeah.
what it said.
So, load rate's fine. Part of that is assuming that it's.
We looked at that bridge and it was smiling at us,
Yeah.
and so we thought,
That's one of the things with timber that sags.
Yeah.
You go look at the floor joists in your house and I've been doing it for years, they.
But to make it safe again for right now, we could probably get a contractor to go back in and replace all those tension rods.
Or the ones that are fake, that was our recommendation, replace the failed.
Okay.
And just 3 to 5 years or 10 years as they fail, to replace a few.
Dude, it doesn't look like there's that many bridges that need closed. I mean, there's some that,
Need replaced has functional components or, you know, safety, like it's about to fall down or.
Yeah, more about like, I understand functionally that bridges are,
Narrow, low capacity.
yeah, but I mean, you know, if we're trying to, you know, do more with less, I guess. You're looking here at, I mean, I see a lot of erosion.
Yeah,
Okay.
water is your biggest enemy. All eastern Kansas, you know, most of the problems you see are scouring, erosion.
The deck cracking and the beam cracking. That seems like that's not optimal.
Yeah,
How do you fix that?
concrete cracks.
Right,
So it's about how big the cracks are and how widely spaced or how, you know, how wide they are, how much, especially on paved roads. And if you salt your paved road, I guess, how much water and salt is getting down to the reservoirs.
looks like,
Concrete itself. Crack is not necessarily mean it's bad, but it's opens the reinforcement of water and salt.
is there I'm looking here like an FAS 54. There's beam cracking. And then FAS 47, there's beam cracking. Oh, concrete. It's really the beams, right? Or is it not really?
So 54 is an old 1930s
Right.
cast in place, what we call a deck girder. Honestly, those have probably cracked from being overloaded hundreds of times over the years. They're running
Right.
80,000 pound semis over them now, and it times for horse and wagon days, you know. So I try to an extent, I have some of my inspection staff, you know, filling some of this stuff out too. I try to limit notes to you guys under maintenance recommendations that say monitor. That's what the routine inspections do.
Right.
Trying to give them things you can actually address. Or
That's-
if it be, you know, should we consider replacing or redecking?
So in your experience as an engineer, this county as a whole, would you say that we're kind of normal in what you see with the type of problems that we're experiencing, or do we have more water damage up here because we seem to get more rain up around this area, or?
I'd say fairly average. There's some counties that have poorer structures overall, as far as if you just look at, okay, what percentage of your structures, I didn't print that, I could, created a web portal that we enter all the data in, download the inspection, has like some pie charts that show what percentage is good, fair, poor. And I don't think you guys are out of line, and there's probably counties that have more poor structures than you guys do. Problems we see up here. You typically don't have shallow bedrock, we got deep topsoil.
Right.
And those panels just get deeper every year, and every year you build the box culverts, and now 20 years later, the channel downstream of it is 10 feet below it, undermining it.
So what's the long-term fix for that?
Oh, just trying to build structures that are resilient to that, you know, most of what we build for span bridges is founded on piles. Concrete slab, bricks with concrete pier walls. Sometimes those will be exposed and you gotta go down and extend. There might have been.
So on our style bridges, because of the soil and stuff,
Yeah.
if you were to go lay a bed in underneath the bridge of riprap, does that cause further problems because then it starts eroding around the riprap? Or in other words, if you were to try to
Yeah,
stop some of that
stabilizes
erosion,
a reach,
right,
and downstream, it keeps going down.
okay,
Then the slope downstream of that gets steeper.
Okay, so
So
you-
what's called a head cut, where
Okay.
it drops, and then head cuts work upstream. And will eventually start working underneath the downstream end, but I stabilize.
so by
It's
adding
not-
riprap in the channel, you cause other problems, there's a negative side to that.
Well, I don't know that you're not causing the problem downstream, and you're delaying having problems at your site, but. It would I guess, find its way to your farm section eventually. It's not permanent.
Right.
One of the questions that we've been working through, there's a technology that's like machines that they've used in wet areas. All
Okay.
actually that, you know, they've got so much water they can't,
Yeah.
right? So they, right, they're below sea level, right? So they have a technology where it's basically a pour in place quick flow arch that works on the islands.
Mhm.
There may be some conversation relative to that. Schwab Eaton out of Manhattan has some interest in having some conversation along those lines. I talked to one of the principal there, I've just known him forever.
Okay.
But I thought maybe there might be some, or the city, you're the county's engineer, so it might be good if we had a conversation, to see whether that might make sense to you to look at as an
Mhm.
alternative. Not for these big span bridges, but also for the. We may have some box culverts too that are fairly large size.
Yeah.
Kind of in that range where we don't necessarily have the ability to stabilize what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
With the underneath ability to bridge the gap literally between the two piles. If I can make that solidified, would that be a conversation we can have?
Yeah, sure. Anything that, if you're looking for contractors to do it, anything contractors haven't done before, I'm familiar with done.
Oh, this is the.
It's gonna be
this is the-
expensive. Yeah.
This is a less expensive pour in place option of the inflatable form that they place the rebar. In. So it's not designed to be it's designed to reduce expense.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be something that you looked at to see whether there's any interest on doing it or not.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm just asking if you.
Yeah, no, I'm always interested in seeing what, kind of innovative solutions people are talking about, looking at.
I'll give you a card and we can set up a call on that and see if it makes any sense to you. If it doesn't, then it's not.
Yeah, along with channels getting deeper, banks steeper, or wide channels wider, right, so.
Have a card.
Yeah.
Six of tension, Rob, that changes.
I know
Everything, yeah, because we were told, or at least I was under the belief that replacing them would be too dangerous.
They are under a lot of tension.
Yeah.
So there is.
Yeah, you don't want to be under there when one goes, but
Yeah, or in front of it.
that's what I'm talking about. If
Shoots
I
out, yeah.
hired a contractor that actually
Mhm.
has experience in doing it, would probably be better than putting our guys at that risk. Unless
Mhm.
we could figure out a way that they could work in there with that.
This is iOS 56.
But it doesn't look like there's a lot of bridges here that you're saying need to be, I mean, that missions in a budget cycle, right? Is there, if you had, when you're looking at these, you provided some pretty straightforward maintenance ideas, is there any other on your list, if you're thinking from a capital expenditure standpoint? Are we talking about 8 or 10 that need to be in the short, medium term that you're saying, this is about to go? Or where are we at? Are we at 5? Are we at 15? Are we at, if you're looking at it?
Of course, this is after a 9-inch rain a couple weeks ago and a 5-inch rain.
Yeah, and it's such a continuum and prioritizing, like,
That's the thought.
do you say, bridges that can't carry loaded ag, grain trucks and stuff are high priority, or, on the highest traffic count roads that are high priority. So after the maintenance tables, the critical feature inspection trusses that have the, what we call fresh critical with inspections. Those we have been doing in the fall, so they were done last October, I think it was. Then we're required to report scour critical bridges. The scour critical bridges have they call a POA, a plan of action in the bridge file that supposed to be after big rain, consulted with
What makes a bridge scour critical?
primarily it's ones that have either we don't know what they're founded on, the foundations are out. So we don't know what they're founded on. We know it's found shallow on soil that's erodible.
Okay.
And so when a flood flow comes through, you can go to your list of scour critical bridges, So we can take those first.
Okay.
See if they fill those in.
So do we have a lot of bridges, Tammy, where the original records just don't exist here? The original blueprints?
Yeah, plans.
Yeah.
From back when they were,
Forties, like
Yeah.
thirties. Maybe just.
I've just been kind of amazed at how many records they do have here. It's
Yeah.
actually been,
I think they-
yeah.
But anyway, and then sheet 16 annual inspections, we actually don't have any that already require annual inspections, so with a condition rating. On, and not just a joint or general inspection, but the deck, superstructure, substructure, or culvert, one of the new ones. It's a 3 or less, then it's required to have an inspection done, and you didn't have any that were 3 or less, so. Well, this is a good report.
Okay, yeah, I was actually anticipating that you were gonna be telling us that there's bridges that need to be taken out of service right now that we weren't aware of, so.
Yeah, no, not anything, so they have what they call critical findings, if we find something that's an immediate safety hazard. That needs to be supported, taken out of service, we're required to report those to you guys. Finding. Same thing, so.
Would you have any contractors you'd recommend to look at that tension rod bridge? Repair?
I could,
Do we know of anybody that worked on that?
yeah, you might have some local folks that. I got interested in, I'm just thinking of the bridge contractors, I'm used to working at the build bridges and box culverts and do redecks and rehab work and stuff are busy doing bigger stuff. But, I'll do something small like that, but I could ask.
Need to go look at it. The tension rods. How many, do they run the length of the span?
No,
They
go
run across.
crossways, and so you know, having a few of them failed, it's not necessarily diminish the, I mean, the bridge is designed to work when all those are laminated together. But it's the timber beams that span from support to support. But it's just when you have them all laminated together, it spreads the truckload out with more length.
Okay.
But having a few of those fail, like I say, so it makes it dangerous and consider closing. But it reduces the little acid. So, so they go perpendicular to the direction of the radius.
Okay.
And they go all over it.
And under tension, your girders, I'm assuming, that they're going through, they would,
It will not take that sag out of them. That's
it doesn't, okay.
correct. Yeah, it, like I say, it just laminates them all together so that the weight of the truck is spread over more beams
I see,
instead of just right under the wheel line.
okay. So my impression
Sag.
was that it was keeping the bridge from sagging, but that's not the
It's
intention.
not. Sag is timber.
So if the tension rods are repaired, the profile of the bridge is still gonna look
Still
exactly the way it is.
Like an old horse.
Yeah.
It'll be, it's real.
Whether.
Well, I'm just glad, I mean,
Sag.
up until now, we thought that we were looking at replacement. of the- But
Yeah,
we're not.
no, it's not your condition.
Okay, no, that's good.
Very high volume road either.
You don't know how helpful that was.
Well, you're welcome. But we'll keep every year going after the state money, you know, and federal money.
Okay. So the last time we were talking about grants, I know that there was one coming up in October, or we would have to apply for it by October. Was that correct, Tammy? Wasn't there? Because there was some information that,
Some services for the elderly.
was it?
Yeah.
I was thinking when you and I were talking, there was a grant that we could, you know what, I think it was for resurfacing the roads or something.
Yeah,
I remember-
cost share program.
Yeah.
That's spring and fall.
Oh,
And
that's
that's the cost share
right.
that is the 270.
That's right. So,
So the next round would be fall.
okay. And the time that you and I talked, it was, there wasn't really enough time for us to get information back. And so we
Right.
said that we'd try to.
That's correct.
So
Okay.
yeah, the bridge program, we applied for a couple. I've got 180 some applications and over at 31 areas, you know, so that.
Okay.
But they had decent candidates and I
So which ones do you apply for? Which one?
We applied for the one over on county line. There's a map in the back here.
Yeah, that's on the. That's on a dirt road, is that the one you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Or it's not right on it, on mine. The 116 or Fox Creek there. Yeah. Yeah, so 116. On the off system program, LVIP, did we do?
This one we went and visited.
123 down on Coralberry, south of Fairview.
That's the really old
That's
bridge,
the
the decorative bridge.
Yeah.
Nice looking bridge.
Wasn't it historical?
It is not on the historic
Okay.
register,
Let's,
but it's one that they might choose to they.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. Well, this is great.
These are all the photos we took. In order by bridge number up here, FAS, and then the OS, that you will look and you'll see something in the maintenance recommendation that says, there's damage or scour or something. Clearing drift, that's a common one. So fill and scour, erosion and clearing drift accumulation.
Okay.
Are some of the most common maintenance items. So, yeah, and I can,
And this is what you'll send.
I'll
me
send you a
the-
link to download that, well, yes.
Because I
So,
can
next.
attach it and the pictures to the bridges and my photo.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. I can download it.
And instead of having to split it out of one file, I can send you individual files that are named.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so, if you guys have any questions about anything else, feel free to reach out.
We will. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, send me an email if you're for next.
Okay. Will do.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now, I asked Krista in the back and we bumped her just a little bit. It took 7 minutes. I'm sorry. Come on up.
Do you need me for anything? All right,
Just-
they can't approve anything without your. So it's up to you.
They're gonna.
So my question is if we didn't participate in our portion of the RHID, does that mean they cannot get it?
As long as you can approve it and then require payment of the taxes back. For whatever the county portion would be, so this would be city only.
So
you can
because,
still approve it.
so in other words, what I was asking is if we did something. I don't want to affect their whole project in the city, right? Meaning,
Right.
I don't want to be the one reason it doesn't go through if the commissioners did one. We don't even know if we're going to do it or not. But if we approve it, we can ask for our portion back then.
Yes.
And then they can determine whether or not they have the funds.
To do their own, right? You would get paid.
Interesting.
Hi. Hello again.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, long time no see. I'm gonna have to, we've talked,
Yeah, we've spoken.
we've spoken, so. Meanwhile.
Yeah. You got some exciting news for us.
We spoke.
No, that RHID is.
My gosh, I was just here.
Thanks, Austin. I'll see you later.
Hello.
I'll call you sometime.
Yeah, please do.
Ask you some questions about
Oh, no.
it.
Thank you. See you guys.
Just here and back again. So thanks for letting me join you guys yet again. We're making this a habit. I print stuff. I know you guys have electronic, but. Just wanted to come and share a few things with you. So the first is a press release in regards to a grant that was announced recently. So the PDHE Rural Health Transformation Program. Don't know if you guys have been paying attention to that, but that is federal dollars that each state applied for. Kansas received significant funding for that to support rural health initiatives. So we were pretty honored and excited to get approved for funding through the grant. There were 20 or 80 applicants. 22 were accepted. So honored to have been one of those accepted, but the funding is going to be used to help build a more formal partnership between Kansas and Northeast Kansas multi-county health departments. Feel like we were selected because our grant really aligns with the grant goals, the state's goals, which is small rural healthcare entities are going to struggle. It's hard to operate at the level that we need to operate if we're not working collaboratively together and sharing resources. So wanted to make sure that you guys were informed of that. Obviously, Northeast Kansas Independent Health Department serves Graham County. So that would impact this region, but not in any way that residents should see. If anything, it'll be a positive impact. We really want to build some robust preventative care services that are available through the health department for residents that lack insurance or need a more cost-effective option. And then building, really sharing kind of administrative resources. So where Kansas can help assist administratively with the health department.
So my question is, what happens with the grant?
Yes, so we built the grant intended towards that, so we really built it. And that was one of the requirements. They wanted to see that it was sustainable, so we had to actually submit a sustainability plan within it. So the goal is that we would build enough services that can be billed through the health department to support the operations. And then the second part of that is that, again, it's kind of resource sharing, so Kansas is unique size, we're 85 employees, 85 employees. So too large for one HR person, you know, heaven forbid somebody was out for a week, we wouldn't be able to run payroll. So we have two, and yet we're kind of too small for two. So we can share HR support with the health department. They're not large enough to have an HR professional. Financial support, so we have somebody dedicated to maintaining records and financial bookkeeping. They don't, and so having somebody internal at Kansas that can do that for them. So it's really about sharing resources. Questions you guys have?
I'm taking it all in.
Yep.
You probably are a little bit more in the know, so.
I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just,
I think it's an exciting opportunity. I do think it is the pathway forward for small rural entities where we collaborate, we partner, we share resources
Mhm.
so that both are more successful.
Does this solve any of the problems with the health department?
That's our goal, is that we really want to help support them and to help support their operations. You know, financially, they are always dependent on county funds.
right.
But again, when you're an agency of that size and you're trying to operate all of the different facets that they have to operate with very few resources to do so, it's always going to be extremely hard. So Kansas, as a larger organization, can help support that.
Okay.
And so that really is our goal, is for both agencies to benefit from the partnership.
Well, obviously, sharing resources, if you are sharing resources, that's gonna help them.
Yeah, and that's what the goal is, and I think that's what they want within the minutes. It's again, how are we sharing? Working together.
Okay.
Second piece was just the part that I had promised I would deliver. I admitted here that I had failed to do a 2025 contract, so updated contract would be for 2025 and 2026. So kept the same contract we've had before. I changed the verbiage under one to reflect that it was for calendar year 2025 and for calendar year 2026. And then the total funding and then broken down by each year, which it was the same amount both years. The only other thing I changed was I added, it speaks to jail services. We have always provided services to the local jail. That will continue, but we don't have an in-depth contract with our jails. So we're working on developing that, so we have more structure to that, but it doesn't change anything within this contract.
Other than the changes you made, this is the same basic document as the one that was done in say 24.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like every year before that,
Okay.
until I felt it.
Well, that's all right, because I didn't sign one, so that's okay.
Like, we get one.
There you
I
go.
wondered how come that's expensive. And when you divide by two, it's just the same.
Yes, it's just the same. I know. So the total amount looks really big. It's not, but you guys budgeted, it's 2 years worth.
So I had a question.
Yeah, I saw the original amount when I was reading through it on my
And your heart
laptop, and
probably
I was like,
stopped.
how
You
was
think I
that?
was pulling something?
Well,
small?
I just thought that maybe I had some really bad information.
No, no,
What
no.
it should cost.
No, I put the total and then I separated that.
Right.
Calendar.
So my question was, the liquor tax,
Hmm?
so 1/3 goes, I forget where it goes to now, and then another third goes someplace else. Where's the third go?
So Mickey had to help me with this.
They get 2/3 of the road. One of those goes to the parks and then get all the city, or split here, and it can go to the city portion.
Well, yeah, so I thought it was a portion that was outside the cities. I was dividing.
There's a county. So,
And I submitted an updated request this morning because Nikki helped me navigate that. I had not requested it. So trying to figure out which portions have been allocated to Kansas historically, so. I think from what we found, it was 100% of the town portions. Has been dedicated to Kansas, and then the 2/3 of the cities under 6,000. I will say this is pretty instrumental dollars, especially as we build substance use services. Those are services that we've built over the last 2 years. We do hire the clinicians, you spend the money up front, and until you can grow the demand to match that, you're going to carry the expense. So we are still in carrying the expense of that program. Eventually, hopefully that will not be the case. But then also, I think we've seen, we've talked before about the fact that we own our building. It is, you're getting very strapped for space within that space. So part of substance use services, the cornerstone is group services. So whereas when you come to Kansas, most people probably think about individual therapy, sitting in an office with a trained therapist. For substance use, it's really group therapy is a cornerstone of treatment. And so we do not have a great space that's conducive to providing group therapy. Our office has been set up historically with individual therapy offices. So we are going to use some of these funds to help offset kind of remodeling the space to make it more conducive to group therapy services.
So approximately how much does that amount to every year for the tax? Thousands of dollars or is it hundreds of dollars?
This was over several years because we have not requested it since I think 2023, fall of 2023. So this is several years worth of funding. So I would say by that probably 2 years worth of funding, at least 2025 or 25, part of 2026. So it doesn't come up to that amount normally.
So. How much was there? I must have missed that.
Thank you. I sent you an updated one, but you probably didn't have time. It was after your packets were out. And I don't need a motion to approve this today since I just got that to you guys today.
But it's approximately that. Or is it why we don't? That,
Yeah, that's me. I'll put it back on there. And just let me know what needs corrected and I'll get it corrected.
I just curious.
I had to do some digging on it as well, like
How much are?
how would we approve this, but it is obviously as we talk about building substitute services. Be critical. Questions that you guys have? I feel like I've spent so much time with you recently.
No, I don't. I just, as long as we're gonna figure out this alcohol.
Yep,
Yeah, I'll figure that out. Okay, that's my question. But we'll get it answered later.
that sounds good. Thank you. Let me know what I need to do on it. Thank you for calling.
Are we in a position though where we can approve the contract? Everything? Or, and is a copy that she, do we have a more official one or is this one? Okay, well, this is fine, I assume. Okay, so then, is there any more discussion here on the mental health contract for 25 and 20, for the years 25 and 26? Is there a motion one way or the other on this? I would make a motion to approve the Brown County mental health contract for the years 2025 and 2026 as presented between the county and Kansas Mental Health and Guidance Center. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? No? Okay, well, if there's not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. This is the official one.
And it gave me there's a fish kind of signature. You just wanted to. Or top of it. Right.
Well, we had asked earlier in this meeting with you about the opioid fund. Am I right? And I believe Nikki did some research and it can be used for e- equipment, is that right?
There's all those.
Okay, so there's some money that's just sitting there that needs to go into homes, so.
We're awful one for.
Yeah, I'm not trying to overload you, I just, we talked about that last week and it'd be.
Don't
nice-
overload me, don't overload Nikki, because
Well,
everything comes
and-
back to her.
Yeah, well, that's true, that's true.
I rely on her to help me navigate those.
Okay,
All right, well, thank you, gentlemen.
Do you report to a board?
Do we have a governing board of
Okay.
directors? Yeah.
How often do they meet?
So for the most part, monthly, I think our bylaws speak to a minimum of it's either 6 or 8 times a year. For the most part, we meet monthly. There's a couple months where we combine them. Like November and December, we just combine into. monthly
So is it a
meetings.
governing board or an
Mhm.
advisory?
Governing board.
Governing board.
Yep.
That's-
And you guys have 3 Brown County appointed individuals on our governing board. So Mitchell Romine, I think you guys appointed him
Correct.
not too long ago. He's our newest governing board member, representing Brown County. And then we would have Jackie Winger, she's our board president, served on the board for years, and it's fantastic. I'm trying to think. It is Laura. Laura Collison, so,
Laura Paulson. Okay.
yep. 3 great representatives.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Thank
Well,
you.
have a good one,
Thanks
guys.
for being so accommodating also. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Okay, going through, I have one more thing. Last week, or 2 weeks ago, we talked with Bridget Rubidoux from the Iowa Tribe. And we need to reach out to her and make. Okay, wonderful. So that's done. I did, just for your knowledge, I did put a call in to the Green Department and partner to try and set up a meeting to figured that'd be a good place to start, looking for the haul roads.
Yeah.
And he was out on Friday and I haven't heard back yet, but I will, so I'm exploring that. So, and that's all I have. I've checked everything on. Anything else? Okay,
She made a note at the bottom also there. So
I didn't know. I just got up to-
this,
yeah, I don't know if you guys paid attention to that or not, but we received more money and people that donate, unfortunately, they don't want to be recognized. I felt bad because I wanted to recognize them, and tell, publicly, thank you for their support, but they really don't. They're not looking for that. But one thing I'd like to do, and I talked to some of the people about the brackets when we were talking about if we get more money in, is I'd like to look at buying some cardboard tubes for the banners to store the banners in each year. So they're gonna be going downstairs, or the 40 that'll go around the courthouse. And so I was just gonna look into that and see what that would cost, and then we could use that money. And
okay,
anyways, so it was nice everybody stepped up, and I was pleasantly surprised how quick we
yeah,
raised that money back. So I guess what we should do is say thank you to the people that's the local businesses and local residents that stepped up and donated money to pay for the brackets for the patriotic banner project. They wish to remain anonymous though.
Well, a heartfelt thank you from me.
So hopefully Chris is listening to me right now and he'll get something out about that.
Okay, all right, right on.
On that subject, people call.
So for right now, Nikki, just keep giving them my number. I'm getting calls every day and I'm taking a list. We're up to over 90 now. And I met with the city again today. So we're in this transition period where Design Concepts is still making banners for us. And I'm supposed to be picking up the lion's share of the banners this week. But until the city has something in place and we can say, contact this person, and we can put it up on our website, I'll still keep taking the calls. I'll still keep, I'm picking up pictures today and checks. So I'll keep doing that. So if you want to just keep giving my number until we announce, and then the city can take it from there. And so right now, just so you guys understand, our 40 banners will be in place this week. And the additional 50 some banners, the city, I had them order through the same company that I ordered through the brackets through. So we released 56 more sets of brackets. And the goal is that the city, if the city receives those brackets this week on Thursday, the goal is that they will put up as much of the 56 banners that I'm picking up this week before 4th of July. Can't make any promise on how many, but the idea is to go on the opposite side of the streets around the courthouse. And hopefully by the 4th, you'll see a lot of banners in place. And then hopefully the city will continue it and they'll end up filling up all the poles on Oregon Street eventually. We'll see.
One. Okay, anything else for the commission? We have our coffee with commissioners this Thursday.
It's Thursday at 5:30.
5:30 at the Burning Barn.
I just talked to you the other day about why we're paying people to be sick.
Okay.
So I just, this is what we're paying last. So, thank you.
I'm sorry, what is this? Sick pay?
Just for information.
And what, other than information, what is your goal with this? I mean, do you have an objective in mind?
So I amounts about $150,000 a year, so that's quite a bit of part of the budget.
So I guess what I mean, are you looking to remove sick time? Are you looking to change the designation to this paid time off? What do you think?
I would, I don't think, people aren't gonna like this, but I don't. If you work for yourself, you don't get paid when you should.
I understand.
Me, that's what.
Nikki, do you know? I mean, just like health
I-
insurance is one of those things people talk about. There's a federal mandate that we have to provide health insurance when we have over so many employees. Is sick pay also, do you know if that's part of yeah. I'm just wondering because
I don't.
I know you're bringing it up, but it might also be one of those things that.
Yeah, I mean,
No matter what,
I'm understanding that too, is that something that's required?
All right. No, that's good. Okay. If there's no other business to come before the commission, or you cut you off, I guess we'll see each other Thursday at 5:30. All right, well, I guess I'll just make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Oh, man.